Hey, the show goes on. Hey, what's up? What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Transformation Institute podcast for change. I'm your host, OMARI JAHI. We got Will, Brenda, and Kim with us today. Vanessa, she's in Hot Atlanta, so she won't be with us today. So, happy Juneteenth, even though I don't know what's so happy about it. Everybody seemed to be real happy and excited because it's Juneteenth, but I don't know. So we were going to, our discussion today was going to be the making of a good dad, but I think we're going to postpone that to next week. And since today is Juneteenth, we're going to have a little conversation about Juneteenth. Should we celebrate? To be honest with you, me personally, I really don't celebrate Juneteenth, because I just don't like how they have commercialized everything, just like Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa was a thing for Black people, and these other folks, they figured out a way to make money off of it. And so now you hear all kind of Kwanzaa programs all over the place. And they doing the same thing to Juneteenth, And so I go and do my gigs, they pay me, and that's it. And I come home, I ain't team. But that don't mean y'all should feel that. What do y'all think about Juneteenth? It's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's a good thing, if only because you think it's bad. You know how that is. No,
of course, Brenda. Of course.
I'm just joking. But but
you're just joking.
I do think with facts. No. No, I do think it's a good thing, even though it's always stuff around good things, it's always some kind of controversy around what you may call is good. But I think the fact that I do wonder why we haven't celebrated it since it was something that they called it back in 1865. I do wonder what happened that we didn't celebrate it from that time on. And maybe some people did do that. Maybe some people did, but not all over the world, kind of like it is now. But I think it's a good thing that, people celebrate whatever they want, whenever they want. The commercialism stuff that some people buy and do on that day, some people don't. They celebrate the way they want to. But I just think the fact that something started talking about letting slaves free. I know the Emancipation Proclamation, I think it had come up before the Juneteenth thing. I don't know if many people were freed at that time. And I don't even know if even at the Juneteenth was a lot of people freed then. I don't really know the whole background of that. But I went to a Juneteenth celebration today, and it wasn't bad. It was just people saying, hey, it's like the birthday of freedom from some slavery. And some people back in that time, I think it's one of those things where but some of those people cried and felt so good that happened to them, that some of them were, can you imagine, they had been slaves, and some of them really got free from that. Even someone was probably old and dying, but I am excited about it just because it's just like an answered prayer for somebody. So that's how I see it. Somebody's prayers were answered. It may not be exactly what we want, but somebody's prayers were answered during those times. So that's how I see
it. Okay, Kim, Will, what y'all think?
I think it's a good thing because it raises awareness. It raised awareness to our cousins in Texas, right? Because we all ghetto cousins. We all connected by some form or shape. And and to Brenda's point, it now raises awareness to us in the North and all over the world, if you will, right? Because we wouldn't be able to celebrate anything if we didn't know about it, right? They acknowledged it in Texas and in the South for such a long time because I think they were still under under that pressure of slavery after we were actually let go from slavery, if you will, quote unquote. So just the fact that we were able to raise awareness around our loved ones, our friends, our families, our cousins is a great thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Me too.
All right.
I'm excited.
You too. You too. Me too.
Yes, I am because as others, didn't give two cracks about it until Biden made it a federal law, and I'm excited because, like Will and Brenda said, that after after we were freed back in 1865, the people in Texas were still thinking they're in slavery. So for us to have that recognition and have the what they said the grandmother of Juneteenth to tell her story, it was like, wow, I did not know they didn't teach you this in school. So for her to be here today to see this moment to whereas now it is nationally recognized. And it's like now the younger generations are getting onto it thanks to social media. So I applaud it. I applaud that everybody is taking recognition now. Is being televised on television. They talking about it on the news, which was never done before, and so now it's bringing, like Will said, a worldwide recognition, which is much needed, especially for the younger generation because they really don't talk about this in school. They don't teach you about this,
No.
and it's just just hearing the stories of like those Texans kept those people in slavery on GP basically. And it's like, why? It just stirs up a lot of anger and a lot of bitterness. But again, that was the past. That was our past. And, we're learning from it that, thankfully we're not our ancestors and we're not in that time in a sense, to whereas we're bound by slavery and people overruling us and just being horrible. There is racism now, don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad as it was back then. And I'm
Mm.
thankful that I was not there in that time, but I do feel sad because my mom used to tell me the stories and it's like, wow, I felt bad because it's like, why? I didn't understand the whys.
Mm. Well,
Even
yeah,
as
I
an adult,
mean,
I don't understand the whys.
I
I
mean,
still think that the racism is to me, well,
It's
it's
still
the
out there. Don't get me
racism is
wrong. It's still out there. It's still out there. But
terrible now too. I think it's a little bit different. I was gonna say that they're not. It's not as so welcome, like outright. You can't. We couldn't go in stores. We couldn't use certain
drinking
water
water. And I'm
fountains.
like, what
We
the
couldn't
heck?
use the bathrooms. All of that kind of stuff. But that is still that's still a presence here with us, and that's sad. And I don't think that'll ever go away. I think so to celebrate those things, do it if you can do it in a nice, good way. And I'm sure there's somebody just celebrating by just drinking up a storm and having the fun on the
Party,
day just cause.
cocktails,
But yeah,
backyard
but if that's
parties.
right, probably not remembering nothing from the past. But hey, if that's how they do it, then somebody in the crowd probably saying something about it. So if the young people are hearing it and hold to it, and each one teach one, then it'll be all worth it if that
Right.
happens. But the racism is still a
Still there.
terrible thing here.
Still here. I think it's here to
the,
stay.
the,
Still here.
um,
the racism is
I
going
mean, y'all
to.
don't think.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying the racism is not going to ever go away. It's like the
Never.
holiday Halloween, right? Racism wears different masks every year. It's going to get more creative every year
Yep.
because it's an institutional thing that's put in place to oppress us as people. And I don't think it's just us either, because if you think about, if anyone saw the clip of Whoopi Goldberg, and when she was explaining how the slavery here in America is equivalent to what's going on in Iran, or even worse. Slavery is still unacceptable 100%, for us, because it is worse for us. So we can always remember that we're not going to ever get away from slavery. We got to keep our eyes open and look out for the mask that it wears.
Good analogy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I just don't like the fact that if the white man, see, I got a problem with this white man. I know y'all know me. If they hadn't figured out a way to make money off of Juneteenth, black people would be working today.
Well,
y'all hear what I'm saying?
I work today.
Black people would be working today, but just like with what's the other one?
But it's a paid holiday. It's a paid holiday.
But it wasn't at first. Biden, Biden made it a paid holiday.
Right.
No, Biden did, but it was also put in place to appease us because of the riots that took place during the George Floyd situation, right? People don't understand and didn't see it coming, but that was the only way to keep us quiet, because we was going crazy about the George Floyd situation countrywide. So by giving us a holiday, too. No, it was definitely the other uproars, but they had to do something to make us feel good about ourselves. We're
and plus, they're not going to give us what was promised to us. Was that 4 acres and a mule? So they gave us Juneteenth. We'll give you this. Since we're not going to pay you, we're going to give you this day, a paid holiday.
But are they really giving us? Something, or are they taking something?
Can't work today.
See,
I work today, but I get it as a different day.
But
for the
what
ones
I'm saying
who did actually get it, they got a paid holiday.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, just like Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa wasn't a national holiday for a long time. Their thing was Christmas, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And so we were celebrating, well, not we, but there were a lot of black people that were celebrating Kwanzaa, but then it didn't really get big until they decided to make it a national holiday like they do in Juneteenth, and then now you got all this
holiday, but it's not a paid holiday. It's just recognized on the calendar. Yeah, Kwanzaa just recognized on the calendar. It's not a paid holiday.
No, but they get paid on Kwanzaa because they have they produce all the Kwanzaa merchandise now. If you want to get the little candles thing,
just
even
like
though there are black people that
Christmas, Easter, they commercialize everything. Every holiday they get paid off of.
This is the only problem I have.
Marketing. But you have the black vendors out there who are getting paid too. So it's a win-win. Because you have your black vendors who out there, selling their merchandise on Kwanzaa. So both sides
they were doing that before.
Money.
Those black vendors were doing that before.
So both sides are making money.
But this is not.
Yeah, but like you said, when they got recognized. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, is there a black person that makes money off of St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, if they want to. If they open up their bars, they will.
No.
If they open up the bars, they will.
No, we don't.
If you open up the bars,
no, they gonna make money off us because we gonna be in there drinking.
Right, but if black people have bars and they open up their bars, they'll make money.
You don't think white people go to black bars?
No.
White people dancing to boots on the ground now.
No.
Some white people go to black bars.
They
Some
like
white
the
people
police
take black
No, they
people.
don't.
Y'all know that, right?
White people doing
You
boots on the
won't-
ground
yeah,
now. They
What?
realize
Look,
that
look.
we have fun. We like to party. So yes, they want to join in the
This
fun
thing
too.
is
White
one
people love
sided.
black bodies.
When what's another one? We celebrate Columbus Day, right? We ain't got nothing to do with Columbus discovering America, but
We
we
don't
celebrate it
discover.
because it's a day off, right?
We don't celebrate it. We just take the
We
day
But what I'm
off.
celebrate
saying,
it.
we
For
don't.
the ones who have it off, everybody don't have it off.
Yeah, we just take the day off, right?
Right. We don't
But we
celebrate
ain't making
Columbus
no
Day.
money off of it.
Yeah. I don't think nobody is, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think nobody is, right.
I don't think nobody
But
What-
I don't
celebrates
think
My
Columbus
point
Day.
here,
I don't think the fact that people are commercializing and making money off of these holidays is a bad thing, because if we don't do it, they definitely gonna do it. So why don't we take opportunity and sell our wares and sell it to our people who are gonna appreciate it and value it and not devalue it by putting it in the mainstream and not making the money that we're supposed to make.
Yeah, because in
that would
actuality,
be
our
great.
people don't buy enough from us until those black so-called holidays. They don't. I mean, some people always do, but majority no. But when they had them, like when I went to the thing today, they had vendors, and I think they said it was 22 or 27 vendors. They were all black vendors, and even that I don't. There's going to be particular things that make money. There's going to be some things that people just pass right by that table, even though they're black. That's going to happen too. I guess it would be kind of a little funny for us if at the Juneteenth celebration there was a white vendor table.
Well, I don't think they have to be there because the things that we're selling as black people come from them. Where do you think that black people get that stuff they selling? They ain't making it.
I saw a lot of made things today. I saw a lot of made things.
It's a lot of creativity that goes on around Kwanzaa and now around Juneteenth. There's a lot of creativity, a lot of opportunities to put things out that they don't have money to put on shelves. They put out in these events, these vending events.
Yeah, like these flavored pickles and their cookies, their goods, their baked goods, their candy, fruits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like for Mother's Day, all the Mother's Day baskets, where do you think they was getting that stuff from?
The stores.
People was going to Walgreens. Walgreens was getting rich.
Dollar Tree.
Off of Mother's Day cards and flowers and all that stuff. You see what I'm saying? And it ain't even Mother's Day. It ain't the day you became a mother. It's the day that they decided to market that.
To celebrate you as a mother.
We ain't gonna even get into that.
It's the day you celebrate. That's the day set aside for you to celebrate you as
a mother
mother.
every day.
Right.
Every day.
365.
No,
but this
you can
day
become-
was set aside for you to celebrate you. The time to take to celebrate you on this day. We recognize you.
Yeah, it's the day that they can make money off of you on this day. Everybody get rich,
every
but
day.
you.
Every day people making money. You can't stop that.
Every day.
People
Every day off of us. Every day
you making money.
Black people are,
Every day.
Black
The
people are
liquor
buying
stores
stuff
making money. The weed man making money.
And we okay with it.
You ain't got no choice. That's
and
survival.
we okay with it.
That's called survival.
What? Oh no.
That's called survival. Yes, it is. It's called
wait. So you
supply
don't
and
buy
demand.
anything ever?
It's called supply and demand.
Who, me?
Yeah,
You're
you don't buy
gonna
anything
to survive.
I bought this at a Juneteenth thing from a black person. I support vendors. I don't know if y'all can see it because my screen keeps freezing. The argument is that it doesn't become a big holiday until some white person says, okay, black people, you can celebrate this now. And we go, ooh, thank you, master. Thank you. Now I'm Juneteenth. I get my black flag and I'm flying. What'd you say, Will?
I don't agree.
Isn't that our fault though, as a culture of African Americans, that we don't support our own? Like, I get what you're saying about we got to
Yeah.
get the stamp of the white man in order to be successful. But do we
Yes.
really need their stamp? Can't. Why don't we collectively? Let's have a real conversation. Why don't we collectively come together, support each other for real, without the direction of the white man, quote unquote, to tell us when we should support one another? I mean, that's
But
something that we got to come together around the
people were
culture.
celebrating Juneteenth, but it wasn't nationalized until it became a federal holiday.
So we don't have to have a
Right.
Juneteenth.
And we didn't
have to have a Juneteenth.
we didn't make it federal.
We can have a time when we just if they don't ever put it on their books, we can have a time when we do stuff. We don't do that. We want to talk about this. Well, yeah.
Think about this. Why don't we have a lot of black-owned flea markets, right? We have a lot of small businesses that make great things, great products, make great wares. Why aren't we coming together and putting together our own flea markets, if you will, or vendor markets, if you will? It starts with us. We don't really need nobody to give us no stamp to do anything. We didn't need nobody.
But you do need a license. You do need a license to sell your product at the flea market. You do need a permit.
Okay, but that's investing in yourself.
They got to give you that.
No, I'm saying that's investing in yourself.
We could get that from them. We don't be mad because you have to get it from them to start your stuff. That won't make you mad, will it?
But what I'm saying is you have to get something from somebody. You know what I'm saying? You have to get it from somebody.
Okay.
So it is a process.
Okay.
Right, because they're going to get paid either way, right? They're going to get paid either way. Look, we're in a time of life where they charging us for water. We would never thought we was going to be paying for water, right?
$10 for a bottle of water.
It's going to be air next.
Come on, man.
Go to the restaurant, they charge you 20% up front.
It's going to be air next.
It's going to be air next. Thank you. Yep.
Watch. Yeah, it's going to be air next. They're going to be charging for air.
Yeah, we go to World War III.
And we okay with it because we like sheep, man. We like sheep.
It's called survival, supply and demand.
No, it's called going along to get along.
You gotta survive in this world. If not, you need to be on the moon. You need to be on the moon. Well, you don't have to pay for nothing. You can do whatever you like. But you gotta get there. You gotta get there.
So we gotta call Elon, right?
You gotta get there, though. You gotta pay to get there now. So again, it's called supply and demand. No matter how you look at it, you're gonna have to pay somebody for something. Unfortunately.
Okay, so what's the alternative, Ty?
Well, there was a time where we had our own banks, we had our own grocery stores, we had our own warehouses, we had our own everything, and then not segregation. What's the other one? Dr. Martin Luther King, he came along with integration. There it is. Then integration went into effect. And you know what integration was? Integration says now you can go to the white man's restaurant, so you can close your restaurant closed down. You can go to the white man's motel, so now your motel closed down because you was thirsty to go to the white man's motel and sleep in his bed and drink his water and his ice because his ice is colder than your ice. You know, this is the thing that pissed me off. And we as Black people, we don't seem to, either we see it and we say, oh, well, that's just the way it is, you know, and you just have to go along to get along, or we don't see it and we just like blind sheeps going along, wandering around, being led here and being led there. This is what pisses me off, is that we don't.
So how did we get the black banks? How did we get the black banks? Where did we get them from? How did we get black businesses and banks and stuff? We come from slavery to getting businesses. How did we get them?
Well, there's a thing called Black Wall Street. I know you heard of it.
So a white man didn't give Black Wall Street a start.
It got from somewhere. I mean,
no, the black people back then, they pooled their resources, families, they bought things. They bought land,
From
They
where?
bought.
From whom? From whom?
They bought them
Who
from
they
white
buy
people.
from?
They bought them
There
from
you go.
white
My
people.
point.
Right.
My point. You
Our
bought
But
point.
from somebody.
You
From
yes,
somebody.
went
but
right back
but
to
after
we had to get it
but after I
from
bought
somebody.
women, after I bought the hotel, I didn't have to buy. What else I'm getting from him? The hotel is mine. So
You gotta put
if
your
I
money
got people
somewhere.
sleeping in my hotel, if I got people
Mhm.
sleeping in my hotel, my black-owned
Mhm.
hotel, and
Now
then
you gotta buy the
they look
sheets,
across
you
the
gotta buy
street,
the stuff to clean the hotel. So there's a lot of going into this hotel now. You gotta buy
but
cleaning
it's still my
supplies,
hotel.
but you still gotta buy
Yes,
your
but it's
products
still
from somebody.
yes,
From the
yes.
white
I
man.
understand that.
Okay, and the
I
bottom line is
understand
you're
that.
buying it from somebody.
No.
Okay.
Because see,
Okay.
if I had a grocery store, let's say I had a grocery store, right?
Mm-hmm.
A black-owned grocery store, I could have land in the South growing my own peas, lettuce, bananas, all of that stuff. I could be growing my own stuff to ship to my grocery store. But you know
Who's
what that takes?
processing it?
Planning and organization.
Who processing the products you're shipping? Who's shipping it? You need a shipping
Where
company.
Wait a
you
minute.
got the
You
land
need somebody to
from?
pick all this stuff. You need somebody to
See,
process the food.
see, you act as if the white man is the only person that can drive a truck.
Again, we're just saying it comes from somewhere. The bottom line is it comes from somewhere that
It's,
you build up. Then you separate,
and
but
so
it
that
comes from the
means,
source. And then
so
you
what
What
that
is
means
Yolanda
do your
saying?
is
What
own.
is
that
Yolanda saying? What
I
did
can't
Yolanda
see.
just
I
say?
can't see.
Me either. Me
it
either.
says
I'm on my
this
phone. I
will
can't
never
see.
happen in black community. She said this will never happen in the black community. We too divided and jealous of each other. We, the only race, not working together.
I agree.
I agree with that.
So that was my point that I was going to ask Ty. How did they collaborate?
Mm-hmm.
How did they come together? They had to trust each other at some point, right? We don't have trust no more.
Yes,
They
exactly.
don't exist.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes. You know, all these, you said you was at a Juneteenth event today, didn't you, Brenda?
I was.
Brenda? Yes, I was at a Juneteenth. There was about 25, 30 different Juneteenth events going on. Now, when the Hispanics have what's their holiday?
Depends.
Cinco de Mayo.
That's the Mexicans. Or you talking about the Puerto Ricans?
Yeah, I say Hispanic. That covers all of them.
Not necessarily, because the Puerto Ricans have their own celebration.
No. You're missing what I'm saying.
Now, what I'm
I
saying,
said
the Mexicans
Hispanics
have
cover
Cinco
all
de
of them.
Mayo, and the Puerto Ricans do not celebrate Cinco de Mayo. That's the Mexicans. The Puerto Rican has their Puerto Rican Day.
Okay.
So it's two.
They
So
have,
it
they have
depends on what you're
Flag
talking
Day.
about.
Puerto Ricans have Flag Day.
They have their Puerto Rican Day, which is, I think, around June, the first Saturday in June. And they walk around,
And
with their flag, and they make sure they be known. They're not
Puerto
Mexicans.
Ricans. Now Puerto Ricans are black Hispanics, right? You know that, right?
No, I didn't.
Now, why did we know about their holiday, but we know about the Mexicans?
They look Puerto Rican. They don't look black.
Puerto Ricans are black Hispanics.
Okay.
Look at their hair. Their hair is nappy and curly, just like ours. Mexicans' hair is straight. That's how you can know the difference.
Okay.
But why is it that we don't know that much about the Puerto Rican holiday? Y'all said it's a flag day, right? I never heard of that. But we know all about Cinco de Mayo.
Because they're my family, so I know about it. And we grew up around the Puerto Rican.
I'm sure they are, because they black.
No, my nieces and nephews are Puerto Ricans. So, and plus Hispanic? We grew up around them. So yeah, we know about the Puerto Rican Day Parade. And how they have their celebrations.
But my point is that all day today we had all these different Juneteenth events, but when Cinco de Mayo come up, you see this big, huge parade. Now, the event that I went to, they had a parade. That's because of Trump. They ain't got nothing to do. That's Trump. But before Trump, what I'm saying is we had all these different events. They had a parade with maybe about 10 people in it, on 69th Street. I don't know where they went, but they had a parade. And there were other organizations that did the same thing. Now, why couldn't those 10 different people put their parade together and have a big parade? You see what I'm saying, for Juneteenth? And the reason why we don't is like Will said, we don't trust each other, or everybody wants to try to outdo the next person.
But I saw several celebrations on the news today. It was several celebrations and several parades today on the news.
We can take that too, like this here, Ty. You say all the parades. What about all the churches? Right? Why we got churches that got 5 members, 10 members? It's the same thing. We don't trust.
Every other door is a church.
Everybody want to be the leader. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And who's at fault with that?
We are.
Our community.
Because we allow that to happen.
We're
scared to have a real conversation in our community to address issues. We don't want to have that real conversation.
In other communities, they don't have 10 and 12, 20 different churches in one community. They got one church, at the most 2. And everybody in that community either go to that one or that other one. Not 5 go to this one, like Will was saying, and 10 over there, and 12 at this one, splitting up the community.
But again, I think if we go back to
the
slaves were divided. They were divided.
Wait a minute. Yeah, we are. What was you saying, Brenda? I couldn't hear you.
I was saying that's us in a nutshell. Still today, we're talking and we're still doing it. We do it. So that's nobody else's problem. I mean, we could say that the white man divided us a long time ago and we stayed like that, but we don't have to stay like that. People choose to stay like this. The churches and stuff, I'm with you about the churches, but hey, and you say we just go along, get along. After a while, you just don't want to fight anymore. How many years can you fight? I'll be 65 years old. I've been seeing churches with 5, I ain't gonna really say 5 members, but a few members. I've been seeing churches right here on the block, Division Street. Every time I would go past another little church, and there was just, it was little, and then across the street it was another. It would just hurt my heart. But you can't keep fighting that fight, because we don't know how to get together. We something in us is missing, and I don't know. Maybe it did get embedded in us through slavery. Maybe it was. Remember the Uncle Toms in slavery? Remember they gave them some food to eat and let them cook in their houses, and it made them feel good. Some people feel like they're above the other. I don't know why that, but that will never ever go away either. All we can do is, hey, try. But I don't think blaming it on that we're just following the white man's stuff and following a lead, and we can't. I think it's us. I think it's us.
Yeah,
it is us. I agree with you. It is us. See, we don't have leadership. Our last leader was Jesse Jackson. You know how long ago that was?
Don't say that.
Name one since him.
Is it necessary for a leader though?
Jesse Jackson did some to our podcast because I can't hear
you. Honestly.
Say what?
Need that one.
What? Hello? What happened?
Hey guys, something's messing up. I can't hear.
I hear you.
I know, but y'all was going. It was doing that.
It's probably the bandwidth that we're on.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just couldn't hear.
Could be.
So
it could be.
It freezes out every now and then. So
you
can bear with it.
Okay. But I mean, I think Will was saying something about, do we need a leader? But now we're without a leader, and look where we are.
I was saying,
look what we did.
No, right.
Look what we did when we had.
No, I was just saying
when we had Malcolm X.
We didn't kill him.
What?
His own nation killed him.
No, I'm saying, look what we did as a people when we had a leader, and now look at us now. We don't have a leader right now, and look at us. You can answer the question.
Are we the
Do
same
we
or
really
are we
need
worse?
one?
I think ever since not Malcolm X.
But are we all leaders though?
Yeah, we are leaders in our own rights, yes. But do we actually lead?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
question. Do we actually lead? No, some of us just follow and go with
Well,
the
Brenda
flow.
was talking about fighting. Brenda was talking about fighting, right? That's what leaders do. They fight, and we follow. I mean, we support them. Like Dr. King was the one that decided to sit in at some counter, food counter, whatever, and then the rest of the people supported him in what he wanted to do. The boycott, the bus boycott.
Yeah.
You know, the leader is the one that has the vision, saying this is what we need to do in order to get them to recognize what we want, or to pay attention to our demands and this, that, and another. This is what leaders do, and we support them. But if you ain't got nobody with the vision, there's nobody looking, nobody's trying to say, hey, we need to do this, and then the people say, hey, we with you. There is none. But it was back there with Malcolm X, with Dr. King, even with Jesse
right
Jackson. And that's where it ended.
I think Jesse was an opportunist.
Well, in our own neighborhoods right now, if this is just me, this is just my opinion, you can say something to your people, not even thinking of yourself as about to lead some people, but talk to them about, hey, you know, we need something in our neighborhood, you know, we need to get together to do so and so. And then no one backs you up. No one says, or you do get people who say, you're right. And then that's as far as it goes. I guess the leader that you're talking about would be someone who, when no one else backs them up, they go ahead and try to make something happen. And then maybe somebody will see something happening. It seems to me that says that people have to see something before they join into it. They have to see somebody doing it before they, and I guess that's what the leader would be called. But sometimes the leader is looking for somebody to join hands with them, to come along and let's lead, let's make something happen together. Sometimes evidently that's what we need right now. I don't know do we know if there was somebody right along with Martin Luther King who was just like him? Do we know that? I don't know about Medgar Evers, whatever his name was. He right with him? Did Martin Luther King have someone who
John Lewis was right there with him. That's why he said we fight the good fight. He was like, we fight the good fight. He was right there with him.
Dr. King was the figurehead. The person that was behind the civil rights movement was a gay dude. By I forget his name. What was his name? It was a gay guy. You never saw him. But he was the brains behind the civil rights movement. Dr. King was just following what he was saying, and he was the voice, and he was the face of the movement. But it was this man, I can't remember his name. Hey, Alexa.
So why do you think he stayed behind the scenes?
Because, like Tyrone said, Martin
because he was gay.
Because he was gay.
Oh,
he was gay in the 60s. That wasn't flying.
And, that wasn't cause for. You didn't cause for that. So you needed to face somebody who the people recognize.
Right.
And Martin Luther King had the pretty face. He had the pretty face. So
you see what
the white people and the black people flocked to him.
And he was a great speaker. You see what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm saying is that if you have a history of all your leaders being killed, and the only one that didn't die was Jesse.
And you wonder
we
why.
can figure that out later. That's a whole nother conversation. But Malcolm X got killed.
Starting with Christ.
Martin Luther King got killed.
Starting with Christ. He was the first one.
Well,
They didn't believe him, but he was the voice. He was sent here to lead the people.
Yes.
And guess what? They crucified him. So next, who was next?
Yes.
So if you keep just look at history, all the great ones were either crucified or assassinated. Think about it.
So that's why people don't
look at the good that that was done
they set forth
with these leaders.
Yeah, they set forth the change.
You see what I'm saying?
To continue on.
Yeah.
But greed and everything else came in and just derailed everything else. So yeah, they were sent here to lead us. But we as the people got distracted.
But since we don't have a leader now,
it is up to us now. We're wandering the world we're out here wandering the world now because we don't have no more leaders to try to figure this out ourselves. And look what we're doing.
But we never did. We didn't even figure it out back then. We was just saying, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'll support you." And so people like us, we would be sitting at the counter. You see what I'm saying? We didn't plan this. We didn't plan the bus boycott. We just participated. Like we do now. We go to a JUNETEENTH festival or whatever. We're participants. We didn't organize it.
No,
but the thing is that we don't have anybody organizing things for us to move us forward as a race of people, not just some organization over here trying to get a come up.
I think they're out there. We just don't know about it.
Let's read Katrina's thing, man. I can only see the name.
Tyrone gonna have to read. I can't see.
Why we can't see that?
Because we're on our phones.
Because you're on his phone. You're on your cell phone.
Tell her Black folks come in live to say what she got to say. I can't see that.
Okay.
She says, this is cut. She said, Black folks so skeptical on things that seem right. Nowadays, Black in the day, they needed someone to be their voice. They actually needed help. And Black men actually tried harder.
Tried harder back then. So now,
what does try harder really mean, though? What are we saying there?
I think what she's saying is that they put an effort in, in trying to do what is right, and they didn't let stumbling blocks deter them or whatever. They kept forging forward or whatever. So I think that's what she's saying.
They took the beatings. They took the water hose and all. They're not doing that now. They're not taking the beating.
There's only so.
They also have support.
There's only so many times. Mm-hmm.
This is what?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Will.
No, he said they had supportive families.
No, I was about to say that.
No, I'm just saying, like, I hear what. No, I was basically saying that, yeah, they took more abuse. They stood up for a lot more other things, but they also had a support system. They had apparatus that helped them, supported them. A lot of these people out here today will put their stuff on the line, and then there'll be a trend on social media, a joke on social media, or a topic on a podcast, instead of us supporting them for doing something that was probably designed to help us out as a culture, as a people. So it's a big difference between now and then. And it can go deeper than that, but I'll just leave it at that on the surface level.
So is there someone right now that we know of, anybody that's doing something that's really towards trying to keep us more together as a people? Is there, like, I don't keep up with Brandon Johnson, but my daughters had a big conversation about it today that was kind of terrible. I'm not going to talk on that. But is there anybody that's in the, let's say, limelight or out there in front right now any black anybody? We're saying that there's no more leaders, but is there anybody that we've heard with a voice that is moving towards something that we would love to support them in? Is there anybody we know? Anybody you know?
Now, I'm gonna tell you this. Oh, go ahead, Kim.
I was gonna say, Pastor Hannah. I'm not familiar with the South Side, but I did see on the news that he bought that store on the corner, and he took down the sign. I think it was a liquor store or something. It's right there
Yeah,
on
yeah,
70
yeah.
something. So they bought the store because they said they're not gonna sell no more liquor in this neighborhood. So he bought the store. They took down the sign, and I think they're gonna turn it into like a community center.
Bam said nope. She's like Pastor Hannah. She's like,
I
nope.
know they did that, so they bought
Maybe
that
she's just
store.
saying no to the answer, the whole answer.
Yeah, that's it.
Who was
Happy on
that?
79th and Cottage Grove.
Oh,
Whoever said that. They bought
What
that
was?
store.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Happy.
okay.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that area, but yeah, they
Oh
bought that
yeah, it
store.
was a liquor store. I know what you're talking about on 79th and Cottage. Yeah.
So they bought that store. They took down the sign, and they're gonna turn it into a community center. So there are things out there we just don't know about it because we're not in the neighborhoods or in the area. If you're not paying attention to what's on the news, you won't hear about it unless you see it on social media. Now
Now,
that's
is
if
Pastor Hannah?
if these pastors, take down these stores and run out these little, excuse my language, but these Arab stores out their neighborhoods, that'll be a good thing. That's what leaders should do. If you see that these neighborhood, these gas stations selling these, what they call them, swishers and these juice, I hate that. So if they just run them out of the neighborhood, I think that'll be a good thing. Take back your neighborhood, my
So
block, my hood.
I don't know about Pastor Hannah now. I
I
mean,
said
the reason
that's
I'm
what he
saying that,
did. She said name somebody who's doing good things, and I thought that was a good thing. You took back that liquor store,
yeah,
well,
I think that
and you're
I
gonna
thought
turn
that
it into
was
a
too. I
community.
thought it was too. Yeah, yeah, I thought that was. I remember
but
him doing that, and
yeah,
I
but
actually like Pastor Hannah a little. Yeah.
but Pastor Hannah is not on the level of Malcolm X and Dr. King for
No,
Black
he's
people.
not. But again, he's
The
making
only
Well,
person that's
changes.
still
well,
alive,
Malcolm X
there's only one
was,
person. Huh?
but Malcolm X wasn't always Malcolm X either. He started somewhere. I mean, he did. Y'all know he did. I mean, we
Yeah,
saw
I
the
understand
movie.
that.
He started somewhere. So
I
the
understand
Pastor
that.
Hannah is not on the level, but people can grow to a level. I'm just asking, is there, I mean, Kim just
And,
said Pastor Hannah.
and
Anybody else
Father
got anybody
Flanger, he
else?
does a lot for his
Well,
Anybody
community.
else?
well, we just had a comment. A gentleman just said the community should own those swords, not the pastors. Why are we building up a pastor? We're all leaders, right?
But because
We don't need no
Building
pastors
pastor,
up the
to build
the
a
pastor,
sword.
pastor
we're not
got the
building up the
money from the
pastor. The pastor
community.
did it.
He got the money
Where the
from the
money
community.
come from?
He
This
did
pastor buying stuff with? Where the
He
money
got
coming
the
from?
money
This
from the
pastor buying
community.
stuff with?
He got the money from the
That's
community. Hold
it
on.
right there.
He got the money from the
That's what I'm saying.
community, and I'm pretty sure he got a loan. So trust and believe
The
me,
community
the
should
community
own
is
They'll say
paying
he got
own
some
attention.
that,
grant.
not the
I don't know.
pastor. The community should own that.
Again, the community is paying their tithes to the church.
Pastor
So
doesn't own
again,
it.
that money
He
is
doesn't own
going
it by
back into the
himself.
community.
He doesn't own it.
Right.
He's
He
just a
just
man
bought
that
it.
he was just a startup. Somebody got to start something.
Trust and
I
believe the
think
bank is
what
holding that
happened.
mortgage. The bank is holding that mortgage. But he made a step
Well,
in taking it back for the community.
I think
Maybe
we
we should
misunderstood the
research.
question. I think
You say
we
what?
misunderstood the question. I think we misunderstood your question. I thought you were asking, is there anybody now
Yeah.
that Black people would listen to, that Black people would listen to, like
I
Dr.
said,
King
do any of us know a person that is doing something great in the neighborhood that could be probably be somebody that we can back up, or do we know of anybody that's doing something that be a start and we can back them up, or people can start to back them? Do any of us four here, did we know, did you have a name? And Kim just said Pastor Hannah. That's the name she chose. That's it.
I think the only person that's alive right now that has the ability to be able to galvanize the majority of Black people is Minister Farrakhan.
He has his nation.
And I'm not a Muslim. I'm not saying that because I'm a Muslim.
He has his nation.
I'm not a Muslim.
But he has his nation.
Okay.
No,
Will, do you have
there are Black people that aren't.
No, I don't believe in leaders. I'm sorry. I don't buy into that whole thing.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yep. I don't know anybody, so mine is easy.
I mean, your pastor, isn't he doing a lot for the community? Well, you don't see that. What
my
about
pastor does things? My pastor does things in the community. My pastor does things in the community. My pastor, I don't. I mean, and I love my pastor, but I don't see him coming up and he could. It doesn't matter what I see. We don't know who's the next great leader. He could come up, but no. Right now, I say no. I do not. I do not know anyone, and I don't. I really don't. And no, my alder lady, no, I don't. I know it's an alder lady, and I don't. And when I said I don't know anybody,
you don't know nobody.
I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody. No, I was just asking us, and you guys said something. And Will say he doesn't believe in leaders, and hey, that's it. But no, I don't. So I don't know. What do we do in our neighborhoods? How do we help the transformation for change? I sometimes I'm just kind of stuck over here, like, Lord, I don't know.
No.
Because I don't know anybody.
All you can do is just pass on your experiences and what you have learned. Now, if somebody come back and say, you know what? I learned from what you told me. What you told me, I applied that into my everyday life. You did your job. That's all you can do is just tell somebody your experiences, what you know, what resources you have. Like you told me, you know somebody who can help me with my plumbing issue. That's a resource that you passed along. So again, you did your job because you knew somebody who's in need and you're willing to pass on the information. That's all you can do. That's all we can do. Now somebody come back.
So is it kind of like
that information you gave me, it actually worked? Then your job is done. You led, you taught. Now a student has learned. Now that student can go teach.
Okay.
That's what it boils down to. Pass on your knowledge, pass on your experience, because you don't know what the next person can do. The next person can learn from what you're teaching.
Okay, good thought. Well, okay.
If we look at this, is my closing thoughts, because we about to run out of time.
I thought that was quick.
If we look at the condition of our race before and after, and I'm saying before leadership and after leadership.
You have to explain.
Well, maybe I should say it differently. With leadership and without leadership. Maybe I should say it like that. If we look at the improvements that were made with leadership and the deterioration that is being made without leadership, then it's just obvious that as long as we continue on the path of, well, maybe I shouldn't even say, because we're not continuing on this path on our own. We don't have any leaders because nobody wants to die. There are people that have stood up and want to stand up, but for one, we ain't gonna support them, and they can bump them off easily, and all we'll say is, damn, he probably should have sat down and maybe not made no waves. They found him floating in the river, and and life goes on. You know, nobody give a damn. Guy stood up. Now he dead. You know, and so as long as it's going like this, you know, we shouldn't expect for things to get better. We shouldn't.
Wow.
I mean, that's just my closing thought.
Okay.
So my closing thought is that I think that Juneteenth definitely should be celebrated. I think it should be used as an educational platform to educate people about slavery and how we got to this point today. As far as leadership is concerned, leadership today in 2025 equals a RICO case with the feds. So
Feds are
I don't
watching.
believe in leadership. So
Okay.
Okay.
I gave my thoughts.
My closing thought is that each time we talk and get together lately, I feel like we don't have any real answers. I mean, we have our opinions and we have no, I don't know where we go from here. We don't believe that we'll have leaders because people are afraid. And I mean, and that's probably real. Things are happening to people. And it saddens me that we're still alive, and it's like we have nowhere else to go. And I agree with you, with Kim saying all you can do is what you can do, but it saddens me that you cannot get together with someone, like-minded people, and make changes. And I got to believe that some changes are being made somewhere, sometime. They may be small changes and they may grow to something big, but if we stay with the mindset that leaders die, then I don't know what we're going to do. That's my closing thought.
Okay. Well, you know, Brenda, I agree with what you're saying as far as, because this has been almost like the third or the fourth conversation that we've had, that problems have been discussed and we don't have a solution. I agree with that. It's almost kind of it'll put you kind of in a situation where you want to just throw up your hands and be like, well, what the hell? Yeah, but what? You know,
I'm gonna
I
still
don't
do
know
whatever I
what
can
the future.
do.
Yes,
Do whatever I
yes.
can.
I don't know what the future
But
holds. You know, I do believe Trump is going to change some stuff. I don't know what it is, but he's going to change some stuff, and I really do believe what he's going to implement and what he's going to do, along with Musk and all his little cronies, is going to force Black people to unify. It's going to force us. I could be wrong. I don't know. But
you're right. You're right.
That's the last hope. That's the last hope I'm holding on to. I believe he's gonna force us to unify. You know, and
I believe
if
sometimes
that's
things
what,
have to happen that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
yes, it
Sometimes.
probably was. You know,
Because we need to be
and
humbled.
so
A lot
I guess
of us
all we
need to
can
be
do is
humbled.
just live. Say again, Will.
No, I said because a lot of us need to be humbled. And so that thing you just spoke about with Trump
Yeah.
is real.
Right. Because
Oh, yeah, that's
sometimes,
real.
yes,
Yeah.
sometimes trouble is put in your way to make you address some things and do some things differently. Sometimes that we know that happens in our lives, you know. But Kim has a closing thought, or did Kim do her closing thought?
I did mine already when I said
She did.
you know, you teach and you pass along your resources, and
Oh,
then
okay. I didn't know that.
the student can teach someone else. So that was my closing thought.
All righty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I thank you guys for being on. You know, it's been a long day. I know I was wore out, boy. I thank Bam, Elaine, the bearded one. He was
Yeah, who
on
is
here.
that?
Thank you for your comment. Huh?
Who is the bearded one?
Oh,
That
cut. That's what.
I don't know that. I
That's,
mean, it's
he
just
has.
me.
You know what? He has his own.
But
He has his
that
own podcast. Y'all ought to check him out. Y'all should check him out. He has his own podcast.
Okay, well, see, I didn't know that. I ain't never heard that before, but just the bearded one is kind of like, ooh, who is the bearded one? Kind of, it's kind of what's intriguing. Is that what the word is? I don't know. I better check out the bearded one. Know who that is talking. He don't say a whole lot, but let me check him out.
Yep, and yeah, he has his own podcast. It's pretty good. Y'all should check it out. It's on YouTube, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
on
All right.
YouTube. I've seen a
All
couple
right.
of his shows. So
Okay.
so thank everybody for being on. Again, we were going to talk about dads, but we're going to postpone it to next week. Hopefully, Vanessa is in Atlanta. She'll be back, and so we'll see you guys next Thursday. Until then,
All right.
we out of here.
Peace.
Okay.
Peace and
Peace
head
out.
grease. All right, we out of there. See ya.